Hello there. What's going on, everybody? It is time to finally, at last, we shall review, unbox, and take a look at Darth Maul and the Sith Probe Droids Operative Expansion for Star Wars Legion. Now, this is a little bit thicker of a box than the new design. This is actually kind of about the size of the old style Commander and Operative expansions, because we have a lot of minis in here. We're going to have actually 4 different minis in here. So that's actually really cool. And we have a lot of different poses. We're going to have Darth Maul, and we're going to have these Sith probe droids. So this is, I'm super excited about this. I'm very happy to have Darth Maul finally in hand. I had made some videos trying to get Darth Maul into Star Wars Legion a while back. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if you guys have seen any of those silliness videos, because I was very much a big fan of Darth Maul. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the sprue, we're going to take a look at all the cards, and then we will build out the miniature. Okay, so, oh boy, look at this. All right, we've got some cardboard. We've got our new, our token when you're undercover and you're incognito. We've got the new observation tokens right there. That's cool. We've got our operative and our special forces, and all of our regular tokens. We've got 4 bases in this pack. It's actually pretty good. If you're looking for extra bases, pick up an extra Darth Maul pack, right? We got our Sith probe droids right here. Look at that. Okay. They're actually, they don't look like they're super overcomplicated. And I think they're all the same. So you don't have to, oh yeah, they are all the same. Look at that. BO3, 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 BO4, BO4, BO4. All right, so they're going to, once you put one together, it's the same method for all of them. How are they going on this though? Aren't they supposed to be up on a flight stand? That's what I'm curious about. Oh, here's our flight stands. Okay, we've got flight stands. There we go. The new types of flight stands. Now, one of the things with these is it looks like this is the same flight stands that we get for everything else. If you're gonna assemble them on the flight stands, you either want to prime them before you put them on here, or go ahead and put them on here and then like put tape over the flight stands before you prime. Otherwise you're gonna get sticky primer all over your flight stands and it's gonna look dumb. So you don't wanna do that. And then we've got Darth Maul's sprue right here. He's just got the one torso. And you can assemble him with or without legs, I suppose, if you like, you know. I'm so funny. Of course, there's a lot of Darth Maul leg jokes. I am certain of that. He's gonna be a fun one to put together. Oh, that's the back of his head. Where's the front? Oh, he's got 2 head fronts. Oh man. We do Angry Maul or Maul at Peace? I think we gotta do Angry Maul. That's what I'm thinking. That's what. Look at that. Look at that. Our double-bladed lightsaber. Looks good. Looks really good. All right. Now, let's just see. Got our little rules reference. We got our detachment, divulge, expend, incognito, infiltrate, Jedi hunter, and the icon restriction. I mean, all of this should be in the new rules reference update. We looked at all of that already. Here's everything that's going to come in there. And if you're interested in the, these aren't really instructions anymore. They're just saying which pieces go for which way. Although, like the minis, like I didn't do a how to build guide for Anakin. If any of these look hard, I might do a how to build, but a lot of times stuff is just kind of simple. You do the torso first, then you stick the legs in, then you stick the arms in, and you stick the head in. So seems like that's going to be how it goes. Yeah, you're going to use the same back of the head. All this stuff is going to go in all of them. And you're going to pick either head, and you're going to pick either arm option. So so that's pretty simple. These guys they look like they'll be fairly self-explanatory. You know, this part's going to go on the left. Then this part, yeah, from left to right, boom, 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 and that's on the other side. Yeah, that's almost actually instructions. Just take those 3, whoosh, push them all together. Seems pretty simple. Now let's take a look at these cards. All right, so here is Darth Maul's unit card. He comes in at 160 points, very similar to Anakin Skywalker. He is, however, an operative and not a commander. So while 160 points might seem fairly cheap for a dude of this magnitude, you are still going to also have to put a commander on there. Now with the rules reference though, however, you can potentially put a field commander in a tank, so you can have double tank and Maul or something like that without an actual commander, which would be really interesting. Or maybe just single tank and Maul. You can do a lot of interesting things like that. You can now run, you got 2 force and 2 training. You do have jump and deflect, and immune to pierce, which are all similar to Maul, to most Jedi type characters. You don't have charge or even or anything like that on this one, but what you do have is Juyo Mastery. Juyo Mastery is his hallmark ability here, and it says while you are wounded, you can perform 1 additional action during your activation with a limit of only 2 move actions. So this is better, in my opinion. Conditionally, it's better than Relentless or Charge or something like that, because it's a whole extra action that you can do whatever you want, with the only restrictions being that you must be wounded, which isn't too hard. People are definitely going to want to kill Maul, and then you can't do 3 move actions that way, which is fine. This is really nice though. It allows you to do a lot of different things. Juyo Mastery is going to be great for objectives. Oddly enough, right? I can't really imagine the Maul really wanting to be too much of an objective player, but he could be like, yeah, well, I'm going to take these things, and that's part of the trap that he lays. Like, I'm going to take these moisture evaporators, and you now have to come to me. He can do like a double move and then interact or something like that. His weapon is significant. There were a lot of guesses on how Maul's weapon would be. 8 more dice, basically the strongest weapon, or at least the strongest weapon ceiling is absolutely on there. I was thinking he would be all white with surge to double crit, but apparently that wasn't mistaken. But you know what? That's okay. I can still do that. I can still homebrew a Maul Phantasm, a superpower Psycho Maul with 8 white dice and surge to double crit. That would be really fun. Okay, but no, 4 red and 4 white is really good. It does mean a lot of things. It means saber throw on this dude is going to be completely nutso. It means there's a lot of really good options on here, like tenacity or something like that, to be able to give Maul even more nasty dice. He's going to have Pierce 2 and Impact 2, so those are all good. No surges, which is kind of typical on a lot of force-wielding characters. His speed 2 has 6 health, 3 courage, and a red defense die. I kind of wish he had a little more health than that, especially with the fact that he's going to want to get a wound on him as soon as possible. But that makes him a little bit kind of Palpatine, a little bit like he feels like a glass cannon, right? A cannon that can do a ton of damage. And we're going to talk a little more about him and upgrades and stuff like that, because he comes with a few. And we also get the DRK-1 Sith probe droids. And these guys are really interesting. Now, 35 points makes them really cheap. I think this is now the cheapest unit in the game, at least from a certain point of view. R2 has been updated to 45 now, so these guys are super cheap. Of course, you have to run Maul, right? You've got to run Maul, and while the strike teams are technically cheaper, you have to put a heavy in there, so that makes their minimum cost a lot higher. So if you're running Maul, this is the cheapest next unit to add, right? They have detachment Maul, so that means a couple things. It means, of course, you must have them in the list if you've got Maul, or I'm sorry, vice versa. If you're going to run these guys, you can only run them if you've got Maul. Also, when you deploy them, you got to deploy them next to Maul. So he is, so you can't deploy them first. So they got to go with him. So if Maul goes, in one place, these guys are going to be kind of right next to him. He kind of launches these things. They're hover air, so they can fly over stuff, and they're incognito, which is the real big thing. That's where we get that new incognito token. So if you have, basically anybody outside of a range 1 bubble can't mess with you, which is really nice, until you either attack or perform to try and take an objective or something like that. So basically you kind of get ignored, which is really nice for these guys, because what they want to do is use Observe 3. It's really what they want to do quite a bit. They can put out those observation tokens. We learned a lot about observation tokens. The observation tokens can be spent one at a time. They basically give you a reroll. It goes on the enemy. And you can spend them one at a time. You must spend them one at a time, but you can re-roll the same die multiple times, which is beautiful. A unit can't spend observation tokens that are on itself. So like I put observation tokens on you, you don't get to do anything with that. But the observation tokens do go away at the end of each round, like other green tokens. So while you can kill my droid and the observation tokens will still stay there, but once the round is over, they're going to go away. So if they go first and observe, then there's that. They also have speed 2 and a surge to hit and surge to defense with only a white defense die, only 1 health each, 3 minis in the unit. And when push comes to shove and it's time for them to shoot, they actually have a fairly decent little short range weapon. They're going to be able to roll 6 dice if all of the minis are still alive. 2 white dice each with surge to hit and suppressive is actually a pretty good chance of putting 2 suppression on somebody. I like that. It's not a bad idea. It's not something I'll always want to do. I think usually what you want to do is put observe tokens out and see how things go. Now Maul, what's beautiful about this and the observation tokens is going to work into some of his upgrades. So let's look at the upgrades. First off, we've got and I think these are the same upgrades that we're going to see in the Anakin pack. We've got the offensive stance here, which is it's going to be training. It's going to require force. It's double-sided for defensive stance. When you perform an aim, you get 2 aim tokens instead of 1, but you can't spend dodges, and then vice versa. At the start of your activation, you can flip, so you get to choose whichever one you're going to want to do for this particular token. It's tough though, because if you want to end up having dodges available, but you want to attack, so you go into offensive stance. Now during all the rest of the round, you're stuck. Not knowing which stance you're going to be in. So it's like you definitely have to sacrifice offense for defense, or vice versa. So this one isn't that great on a lot of people, but Maul having that extra action, this one suddenly becomes much more viable. I think this is a good option to run on Maul, especially at only 5 points. It's actually pretty great. But what makes this really great is he can potentially stay in defensive stance for a while. If observation tokens are on an enemy, he can stay in defensive stance. He can take a dodge action as one of his 2 or potentially 3 actions, get 2 dodge tokens. He can be very well protected that way. And he can then still re-roll dice because he will be doing an observe token instead of an aim. So he can totally do that. Also, I want to point out something that Maul does not have Master of the Force. So you won't want to be able to give him, or at least it's less cohesive to give him abilities that require an exhaust for his force abilities. So if you're trying to get a free dodge token or something like that through the force, bad idea. Maul actually wants to take a dodge action when he wants those, or when he's moving in for the kill. Take that aim action and get 2 aims, and you're gonna have a lot of white dice, so you're gonna be able to spend lots of aims. Like this card just seems really good for Maul. We also have Seize the Initiative. It's for a commander or an operative only. During the issue order step of the command phase, you can issue yourself an order. I don't know if this one is as great on Maul. It doesn't necessarily seem bad. There's just other people I would rather have it, but it's okay. That's basically what I'll boil down to. It's okay. Maul's command cards don't really support him needing to do this a whole lot, because I think as a glass cannon, he's going to be using his 1 pips to issue orders to himself, and then he may be dead by the time that this would actually matter. So it's kind of I don't know. This I think this is in here because it's better for some other folks like Jin or Padme and things like that. So we'll see. We get another copy of Offensive Push. We get Anger. We get Fear, Force Choke, Comms Jammer for your little droids. And we get the new awesome upgrade, Force Barrier. Again, this is a great upgrade. I think it's maybe something, it might be a little bit better for like Dooku if you were thinking of running Dooku and Maul together, which is a cool idea. They can protect each other, or at least have Dooku protect Maul a little bit. I like that idea. It's an exhaustible, so maybe not the best on Maul, but who knows? Maybe we'll see a version of Maul someday with Master of the Force, and you can do that. But we also got command cards, and this is the beauty, right? So let's take a look at Duel of the Fates. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. This is a Duel of the Fates. Is a 1 pip for Maul, and it gains a dodge and a disengage. So this is one of those times you want to either be in a defensive stance already, or just switch to defensive stance here because you are going to probably go first. right? He gains a dodge and a disengage, and while he's engaged with an enemy unit, they cannot spend aim, dodge, standby, or surge tokens. So this is he's just great. He's just going to be like, no, this is all about your dice, and this is where like fates is like really a clever word to go in here, because it does make it all about the dice. It's a natural dice versus natural dice. What do you got? Or if he wants to be an offensive stance and kind of throw away the dodge token, he can then tip the scales in his favor. Such a cool card for when those Jedi fights do happen. He also has his 2-pip is the Phantom Menace. This card is pretty interesting, and it feels like it's a glass cannon. I've tried this card out in like a proxy playtest, and you can divulge it, right? But if you play this, it's two ways. You can just play it normally, so it'd be Maul plus a trooper. So you can give it to these dudes. You can give it to his droids. You can give it to whoever. Or if you can even start a separatist droid B1 battle chain with it. Maul can't attack when you play this card, and enemy units beyond range 2 of Maul cannot attack him. So if you play it just as a normal command card, that's a 2. It's great for certain objectives. It's great for those objectives where you need to hold an objective, especially on the final turn, right? If it's turn 6, you know what? I'm not gonna kill you now. I just need to hold this objective, and I need to make sure your snipers don't finish me off because I've got 1 health left. This is a great card for those times. But alternatively, you can deploy this card, or you can divulge this card at the beginning, and then Maul is going to gain Infiltrate. And during the first round, Maul and the Sith probe droids cannot perform objective card actions, and discard this after it is revealed. So basically, you can deploy really far forward, but you can't use it to like recover the supplies or something like that. You've got to, like you can go really far forward and potentially also like attack your opponent. This is like an early offense type of card if you divulge it, which I really like. And so it's really fun for that. But then this card is gone, so you're actually down a command card if you do that, which is rough. So now you don't have a 2-pip. So you can play this 2 different ways, and you get to kind of see what you're going to play beforehand. And the other thing that's great is, since this card is gone, you're not restricted to choose this card. So this way you can put Maul really far forward and then play a 1-pip. And a great one to play when you do that is At Last. Maybe the candidate for greatest art on a card that we've ever seen. This card is phenomenal. And this is his 3-pip, but it counts as a 1-pip. Right? When building a command hand, treat this card as though it has 3 pips. So this really was his 3-pip, but the special thing is it's actually a 1-pip. So you're still going to go first with this card, presumably. Or at least fake your opponent out. Like, I really like this card for those times where you do deploy Maul with Infiltrate, and he gets to deploy pretty far forward, because you're doing 2 things. He's going to gain an aim and a Jedi Hunter, so he's going to have Surge to Crit. And when he activates, he may suffer a wound. So if you want him to have those 3, so even if you're pretty far out, you can still move twice and attack. Really, really nice. And in that attack, by the way, you're going to have a free aim. And by the way, if you gave him Anger as a Force upgrade, now he's going to get another free aim because you gave him he took a damage when you activate him. Oh, and if you gave him Tenacity, he's now going to have an extra red die for that attack. I literally used this card to one-shot Anakin Skywalker. Now, granted, the dice were favorable for me and unfavorable for Anakin or whatever, but that's what this card makes you capable of. And in true Maul fashion, like, this card, then can leave you vulnerable. If you do the 2-pip and then the 3-pip, 3/1-pip kind of combo, you've kind of spent almost all of Maul's stuff, right? And so, like, by playing this one and removing it, you've got 2 1-pips, and then Maul has nothing else. So by the end of turn 2, Maul can be totally spent. He's done everything he could possibly do. He is done. And then he may die because now he's got out of a lot of his support. Like, he is glass cannon completely. Really, really cool. I love these command cards. I mean, there's different ways to play him, and I'll have to play more and see how to play, but I think he really lends himself to that quick, fast, and furious play style. And then you got to hope he did more damage. You got to hope that he killed more than his points worth of stuff by the time he eventually falls victim to his rage. So I absolutely love the way that this character was designed. I love all of the way the cards interact. This is probably my favorite character in all of Star Wars Legions so far. Let's go ahead and put these minis together and take a look. All right, so a couple of interesting things about this. The droids look really good. I think they came out pretty good. There's one interesting point in that while these all go together just left to right, it's important to make sure that the lens here is facing forward, because that center piece can actually be reversed. And then you have like a little, like exhaust, like the little motor shooting forward. And so I kind of did that on this one, which isn't too much of a problem. Your indentation is kind of on the back. So I just turned it around and the eye facing out the rear. And I just said, the whole thing is, this is the new forward, and those little extra cameras are looking behind it, like they're looking all around. And so I did that on 2 of them before I realized, oh, I did them backwards. That's no problem. They still fit, they still work together. And then on the one that's forward, I put on the shorter flight stand, and he's the leader. So now I have a clear way to identify which one is the leader. So you can have that, you certainly have that option, but it is probably a better idea to make sure that they're all pointing forward, and this is how they look. As for Darth Maul himself, I went ahead and did the double lightsabered look. I had first put the outstretched hand on him right here. I was gonna have the hand on. I'm like, no. I wanna do this. I wanna do the double, right? I wanted to do the double crit version of Darth Maul, and this is, in my opinion, the double crit Darth Maul. So but wow, what an incredible sculpt. What an incredible sculpt. Look at that facial detail. The legs were a little tricky getting in there because they kind of aligned to parts of the folds. And then the extra folded piece kind of went in the front. But overall, he went in very, very, very cleanly and very simply. There weren't really any tricks to getting him together. But my goodness, this is maybe one of the best sculpts they've ever done. He is going to be a candidate for miniature of the year, I think. He is really, really nice. And the fact that you can do doubles is a big bonus. I mean, I still, I don't know if which version of Maul I prefer. I got the Order 66 lightsaber nunchuck Maul, which is super cool. Gotta love that. But double crit Maul is also really, really cool. All right, well, that's gonna do it for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check the links down in the description below. There's some special sales, free shipping options on if you buy $50 worth of merch from the merch store right now, and that's running for a little bit, so get your holiday shopping in. It's a great way to help support the channel. Also below the video, there should be some images of some of the stuff that you can get. And but yeah, check the video description. Also go check out Crabbok.com, my website. You can get the Legion AI system, so you can play against yourself there. Lots of links for all that stuff in the description below. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I couldn't do this without you, so thank you for your continued support. And also, you can hop in my Discord if you want to chat about Legion. We'll talk to you guys later, and as always, have a great day. Double crit.